Welcome back to episode 2 of Runescape's first investment fund. In the first episode, we took 100 mil and invested it into a handful of items and ended up making a profit of around 30 mil. In today's episode, we're going to make our next large investment, trying to invest about 20% of our total cash stack, which should be around 20 mil, and we're also going to do some more active flips on the side, using that active portion of our investment fund to generate profits week over week. If you haven't seen episode 1, I'd highly recommend starting there as we explain the whole strategy behind the investment fund. Let's hop over to the Grand Exchange and make our investments. If you remember from episode 1, we still have 3 items which are still selling. That is the 2 proselyte items and the bone bolts. So they are actually still selling on the Grand Exchange right now, but I did find a really good investment opportunity and I wanted to jump in on it before I log off for about a week and a half because I'll be traveling for the holidays. The investment we're going to talk about today is the blue party hat. Now, as you can see over the past month, the party hats have dropped all the way from 9.5k to a very low point of 2.1k each, and they've kind of been stabling out since then. Now, this is because the Runescape Christmas update that comes every year dumps a huge supply of party hats onto the game. You're really seeing a drastic oversupply of party hats in the short term, which tends to recover in the following months of Christmas. One really important thing I wanted to note here on this graph is you can see a huge volume spike right when the Christmas event comes out. So you can see beforehand we were trading 100, 200 party hats in an hour. Now we've gotten significant increases in volume. That definitely makes for a more volatile item, mostly sell offers as you can see from the orange, with the rebound from these buy offers as well. Now, we've been seeing a lot of price volatility on the blue party hats, but I honestly think a pretty safe buy offer is a little bit above 5,000 GP each, and when we expect this to recover, we should be able to sell them around maybe 8 to 9k each. If we aim for that target number, this will leave our profit margin to be around 3k each, which would be a very nice profit. We're also going to invest around 20 mil in the blue party hats. That way we can keep enough GP on hand to continue to do our active flips and continue to make bank from that. And one thing that I completely overlooked is actually the buy limit. So even a veteran flipper like myself does sometimes make mistakes. Buy limit only being 5 for every 4 hours is definitely a little bit low, so here's actually what I'm going to do instead. We're going to list the blue party hats as is for around 5k each, but at the same time, I'm also going to invest in party hat sets. Yes, they also have a limit of 5, but that way we're going to be able to fill 2 buy limits, invest a little bit more GP into this play itself. And there we go, our second investment of the series is live and in action, and we already have 4 of the blue party hats as well. We have 500 party hat sets listed, 2,000 blue party hats listed. We gotta leave this for a while to buy up. And if you are actually looking at the price graphs yourself, then you might look at it and say, hey, these prices are actually pretty aggressive, and I would actually agree with you on that. Now, the reason we want to keep our buy offer a little bit higher is because, 1, the trade is likely to go in our favor with the end of the December holiday update. The reason that is because that will stop new party hat supply from coming into the game. So from that point on, the trade will be pretty much all demand driven. And at the second part of that as well is we want to make sure to get in on this investment on time, as it is time sensitive with the holiday update. We need to be hitting this ideally every 4 hours, so we want our buy price to be a little bit higher as it is time sensitive. As I mentioned before, I am going on a week of travel, so I'm trying to get some large items listed in here to sell while I'm gone. That is going to be the adamant darts and the mithril darts. We have huge limits in for both both of these. This was a very strong performer in our first episode, so we've got those listed here on the Grand Exchange with very, very high buy offers. Now, there is one more item that I have not tried on the series yet that I want to try out, and that is the Ancient Essence. Over the past 3 weeks or so, the Ancient Essence has traded in a 6 to 7 GP range, which is a very, very tight range. And the interesting thing about Ancient Essence itself is the buy limit is 300,000 every 4 hours. So you can really pump a lot of money into the Ancient Essence. Now, I'm hoping this pattern is going to stick for another week. So what I'm going to do is list to buy Ancient Essence for 6 GP in hopes of turning it around and selling it for 7 GP when I log back on in a week. I really don't know how well this is going to work out, but in my eyes, the risk is not that high. The downside, if it drops like 1 or even 2 GP, is really not going to be a devastating loss, so I really think we pump in a lot of money here. 30 million invested for 5 million Ancient Essence at 6 GP each. We'll get that offer buying right now, and we'll keep an eye on it for the next day. My flight's tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. We're back in the new year. Happy 2024, everyone. It has been about a week, maybe about 10 days since I've logged on last, and a lot of items have moved for us. So we sold all the proselyte. We actually also had 2,136,000 Ancient Essence buy. I did turn around and start selling this because it was going for 8 GP each, and I did not want to miss that amazing margin. That is a 4.2 mil profit on the Ancient Essence alone, so that actually ended up working out really, really well for us. We ended up making a million GP on the proselyte hauberks, and I think we made about 800k on the bone bolts as well, with the proselyte pant legs making us like 740k, so honestly a lot of good flips. As far as our blue party hat and party hat set investments go, I am going to leave these for another week, but I don't think we're going to be able to buy many more blue party hats or party hat sets, as the price has already started to go up on these. I might actually adjust my offer on the blue party hats to be like 5,600. I think at that price range we will be able to buy more and be a little bit more consistent with our buy offer. We're going to turn around the adamant darts and the mithril darts, list a few new things in our other slots, and continue to make money with our active management. One item we have not flipped during this series yet is the ruby bolt tips. I really like flipping the ruby bolt tips because, first of all, it's a tax-free flip, and second of all, you can get a high volume of these, and it just is a very consistent item. You can see here over on the price tracker, we actually have it bouncing off about 89 GP pretty consistently, and if we actually look at the longer trend graph, 1 month out looks very consistent from an 89 GP standpoint. It looks like it's bottoming out here at this price, and I do expect it to start trending back upwards here, maybe in the next week or so. So I think this is going to be a very solid flip for us. We will be buying the ruby bolt tips at 89 GP each. And our next round of flips are set. I don't know if I'm going to wait the full week to come and check on these, but I'll probably check in 2 or 3 days. The death runes is the one I'm most concerned about. This could be a ton of profit if we hit this, because the buy limit on the death runes is 25,000 every 4 hours, so you can really get a lot of these. But it is also the one that is, I'm not going to say the least consistent out of all these other items. It just has the most potential to come down in price compared to going up in price. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this stuff. Besides that though, the ruby bolt tips, black d'hide chaps, and the dwarf cannon sets should all be easy winners for us, and we'll hopefully get lucky on the death runes as well. And it has been a couple of days, 4 days to be exact, and I was able to move the death runes. We ended up selling these for 157 each, so that is a 730k profit for all of the death runes that we ended up flipping. Now, we also sold all the mithril darts. That was a bit larger of a profit. I think we got maybe like 1.7 mil in profit on flipping all those mithril darts, so that was another excellent flip. The Ruby Bolt tips have come down a lot in price. They're currently trading for 87 GP, which is lower than I thought they'd actually end up going. So what I'll do is I'll abort this offer right now, and I'll actually start to sell these back around our original target price, but they are probably going to take a while to sell. As you can see, the Ruby Bolt tips have been super consistent in price, trading between 87 to 89 GP, and our buy offer was at 89 GP, so we were actually buying at the high end. Now that this is downtrending a bit further, if we look at the 6-month graph, I do think these actually are going to come down just a bit more in price, probably down to 80 or 81 GP. Hopefully when they hit that price, we can buy a bit more, and they will actually end up bouncing up back to like 94 GP each. That is ideally. We might actually have to sell these for a loss if the price does not move quick enough. Besides that, I think all of our flips are good. We relisted the Dwarf Cannon sets, the Mithril darts, and we're trying to buy more Adamant darts. Although the current quantity we have is selling quite slowly, I do expect that we will be able to sell them. It just might take another week. While in the meantime, we can take advantage of the cheaper prices on the Adamant dart, and then when the price upswings, we make even more bank. One change I also made was I lowered the buy price on the blue party hats. They just stopped buying at like 5k flat, so I bumped up the price to 5,750, and hopefully there we can buy more party hats. The party hat sets though, they are doing completely fine. We're still buying these, and we're looking to get around an 8k margin on those. After tax, gonna look maybe like 5 to 6k, but we'll keep our eyes on all of these offers, and we're gonna let them sit for a few more days. And we're back. It has been about 4 or 5 days, and we have a ton of updates that I need to catch you up on. As you can see, we have a lot of items here that are just a bit stale and are not moving back and forth, so we really need to do something about almost every single item we have on screen right now. And let's start with the Ruby Bolt tips. Now, the Ruby Bolt tips are sitting at about 84 to 87 GP each right now, and if you remember correctly, I think we did buy them around 92 GP, or we actually bought them at 88 GP, so that's cheaper than I thought. Looking at the graph alone, we have not seen prices above 90 GP in over 2 weeks now, which is a little bit concerning considering this was just supposed to be a flip. I think I'm going to give them one more week, and if they don't sell, I'm going to try and sell them back for 88 GP each, which means we're going to break exactly even on the flip because we don't have to pay tax on items under 100 GP each. The Adamant darts are also in a little bit of a tricky situation. Currently, they're selling for 20 to 23 GP each, and if you remember correctly, we bought a ton of them for around 22 GP each, so as long as we can sell above that range, we'll be in a good spot. I was also able to pick up a bunch more at 22 GP each, so we're averaging down on that flip. We're most likely going to sell this for a pretty nice profit. They have been safely selling off at 25 GP each according to the graphs this past week, so I might just lower my offer to 25 GP each and take a 3 GP profit for every single Adamant dart that we have. Although if we did wait a little bit longer, we could get like a 4 to 5 to 6 GP margin, which would be a massive flip and make our profits almost double. But I have a feeling that's not going to be the case for at least another 2 or 3 weeks, and I think it's better just to take the profit right now. Besides that, we have the blue party hats and the party hat sets. Honestly, I was thinking we were going to do an investment on this, but blue party hats are already selling for 9k each, so I think I'm going to cancel my current buy offer here. I'll get the rest of the party hats that are in the bank, and we're going to sell back the blue party hats and the party hat sets for an actually really solid profit. Blue party hat sets, we're looking at about an 80% ROI on those, and the party hat sets probably around a 25% ROI. We ended up making 150k flipping 40 dwarf cannon sets, but we had to lock up 30 mil in that flip, so I'm not really sure if that was worth it. That seems like way too much money to invest into a flip for only 150k in profit. That being said, it is a very safe flip. The margins on these are super stable and they flip quite consistently, but still, I'm not really sure that was worth it. Good news all around, our fund is continuing to grow with a ton of profit, and we were able to sell the blue party hats and the party hat sets for our target price. We were able to make 805k on the blue party hats, selling them for a profit of 3.5k each, and we actually netted 1.4 mil on the party hat sets, a 25% ROI, getting an 8.4k margin for every single set that we flipped. This investment definitely had some pros and cons. Some of the pros were it was a pretty risk-free flip. We got in at a very cheap price, and also it did not take long at all. But definitely some of the cons are we weren't able to buy a lot of the blue party hats or the party hat sets because the buy limit is only 5 for each of those items every 4 hours. So that makes it very difficult to buy a high quantity of these items. On the active side of our flipping portfolio, tons of luck though. Adamant darts selling for 25 GP each, which is lower than our previous target price, but we were able to buy some more for 20 GP each, and we're consistently flipping that 3 to 5 GP margin on the adamant darts. Also made a really good profit on the black d'hide chaps. We were able to flip 900 of them for a profit of 1.5 mil total, so very solid gains there as well. We're going to continue to do these flips and compound our cash stack actively. That way we can flip larger quantities and leave our flips in for longer. Another pleasant surprise is we were actually able to sell some of these ruby bolts for 94 GP each. I gave it a few more days and honestly got a little bit lucky with a price pump, allowing us to sell off pretty much half of the ruby bolt tips. As you can see here on the graph, they have been peaking up to 94 GP, and I imagine that all of these sell offers up here are primarily our offer of like 200,000 ruby bolt tips. They have dropped down in the past couple of hours, but they might come back up and we'll be able to sell them for 94 GP each. Currently up about 800k on the ruby bolt tips that we have sold. In the past 30 days, we are up about 16 mil on this portfolio, which is a little bit on the lower side, and I do think that is because our investment didn't really play out how I planned it. Yes, we did succeed and we made some good money there, but we didn't make nearly as much as I was hoping, as we weren't able to buy a large quantity of the items. So right now, my focus is really trying to find another investment that we can leverage over the long term. That way, we can make a 20% ROI with a large portion of our cash stack and really bring us to the next profit tier. That way, we can flip some larger items actively as well and really start to snowball that cash stack. And that brings us to a great point to wrap up the episode. In this one, we were able to make 23 mil from our active flips and our short-term investment, which net us around 2 million GP. Ends up bringing our total cash stack to around 150 million. If I had to guess, we're likely slightly above that at this point. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to drop a like, and if you're not with us in our Discord group already, feel free to join us with the link in the description below. You can get more live updates there on the series, as well as finding help for flipping and other investment ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.